The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have themselves yet another very difficult matchup in week number 4 versus the Kansas City Chiefs, a rematch of Super Bowl 55, which I feel is the first thing that is worth talking about. This is going to be a very fun matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be looking to get some level of revenge. And Shaq Barrett actually said earlier on in the week that he feels that, at least in terms of the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line, that nothing has changed since the Super Bowl. So that's definitely going to add some fuel to the fire of the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of wanting to get revenge and all these other different types of things, which makes it an even spicier and more enjoyable matchup, in my opinion, to watch. So that's the first thing worth talking about is, hey, Super Bowl rematches are always a fun thing to watch. You got to consider, too, that a lot of the players that were on these two teams whenever they were in the Super Bowl are still on this team. So there's definitely going to be a lot of rivalry-esque things going on there, which I think is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Also worth noting is that the Buccaneers offense is pretty darn close to getting back to full power. You have Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, and Russell Gage, who are all going to be available in this game for Tom Brady to throw to. Tom Brady's actually looked very good through the past couple of weeks. It's just been a matter of wide receivers not being able to step up in certain situations, those being backup wide receivers, because Jones has been dealing with injuries, Godwin's been dealing with injuries, Mike Evans got suspended, Russell Gage has been dealing with injuries, and the backup wide receivers have not necessarily done a good enough job in terms of stepping up in the proper situations. So that's another thing worth paying attention to. The Buccaneers offense, they're finally going to be closer to full power. How is that going to look like on the football field? Definitely worth paying attention to the Buccaneers defense, which has been arguably top 3, top 2, possibly even top of the league, going up against a pretty high-powered Kansas City Chiefs offense, which has been able to really not necessarily forget about the absence of Tyreek Hill, but they have adjusted very strongly. Juju Smith-Schuster was a very strong signing for them. Travis Kelce is still getting his work in, and then you also have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's had a little bit of a breakout year this year in regards to the Kansas City Chiefs offense. All of this being said, the Chiefs offense is still looking pretty darn potent, and it's up to the Buccaneers defense to slow them down. How will they be able to do that? They've looked fantastic on every single level of the defense. The defensive line, the linebacking group, and the secondary have all looked great. I mean, honestly, top of the league in my opinion, especially in terms of pass rush, pass coverage from the secondary, all these other different types of things. How are they going to do against the Kansas City Chiefs offense, which is probably the top offense they have faced to date so far? You could argue maybe Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, but even in that situation, they were able to slow Rodgers and the Packers offense down considerably after the start of the game. So this is probably the toughest test for this Buccaneers defense. Let's see how they hold up. If they do well in this game, I think it's pretty undeniable that this is probably the best defense in the league if they are able to significantly slow down Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense. So there's definitely a lot of interesting storylines here going into this upcoming game. I guess, how is the special teams unit going to do? We finally have seen some level of improvement in terms of the return game with Jalen Darden. I think that is worth noting. Will we be able to see more continuity with that? Will we be able to see more continuity with the punting game and the kicking game? I feel like that's going to be pretty important. The Buccaneers should definitely work on not having to settle for field goals in this game, because you can't afford to do that against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's going to be a big factor in this game as well. Also, some backup guys who are going to need to continue to show more high-level play. Guys like Raheem Nunez-Roches, guys like Logan Hall, they're going to need to step up in the continued absence of Akeem Hicks, which I feel could be very important in this matchup in terms of stopping the Kansas City Chiefs offense. But folks, that's pretty much it. This is going to be a fun one. This is going to be one heck of a matchup between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. We will see what happens here in this game. Two absolute greats going toe-to-toe. And yeah, it's going to be one fun game and definitely worth watching. Also, don't forget, I will be going live 30 minutes before the game starts, so stay tuned for that as well with my reactions to the Bucs Week 4 matchup versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions about this matchup down in the comment section below. I would love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and as always, folks, I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now. and go Bucs.